everyone, hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm coming at you with a brand new video, and this one is going to be the 7 ways you can become a more high value woman. Now of course there are way more than 7 ways of becoming a more high value woman, so this is going to be part 1 of a couple part series. A very important step into becoming a more high valued woman is to sit down with yourself and actually realize that you don't need anyone else in any aspect of your life. If you put yourself in a position where, for example, you lose your boyfriend or you lose your best friend, you are able to move on from that and provide whatever it is that you think that your best friend or your boyfriend provides to you. This might be subconscious. It might not even come out on the surface level. For example, if it's your manipulative best friend that gets upset when you move to Spain for university and, texts you every single night and you're like, Mary, I'm literally in Spain living my best life. Like, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm gonna be there for you. But setting those boundaries and then those boundaries are not met, you will still be able to live your best life without that person, without that job, without that circumstance or situation. Now, granted, I'm still here to say that it is way better to work with other people, to be around other people, and to let other people help you. Honestly, I know that this is the most hardest thing ever. It's so much easier said than done. I'm not saying tomorrow, leave everyone behind, but if you figure out that, for example, if you're dependable on your iPhone, if you wake up and you're like, I start thinking negatively and I can't stop, like I need to distract myself by going on my phone first thing in the morning. Just by recognizing that and knowing that even if in a year I can work towards slowly building that habit over time, then it's just so effective. Like, you don't need to do it tomorrow or in 5 years, even if it's something that's truly hard for you or you're in a circumstance which I empathetically understand, and I'm not saying, oh my god, it's so easy. It's 100% not. But yeah, tip number 1 is such a powerful factor into truly being a high value woman. Okay, so number 2 is investing time and money into yourself, into both beauty, into classes and experiences. This actually all ties into one. When you develop self-love, which is literally, I don't even need to have any steps. I can just say, have self-love. That will literally solve all of your freaking problems. For example, some people are like, oh, I really want to fix my teeth, but I don't have enough money, or I'm saving up for something else. When you prioritize yourself first, your life truly begins, because that's when you become the person that you are meant to be. And I'm not saying, go broke buying Gucci belts and the best style in order for you to look your best, but have that sort of realistic image and perception of yourself of, what do I need to put energy in order to be my best self? Because then you're going to be able to act as your best self, and that will engage you into becoming a more high value woman. I have a mantra every single year of 1 sentence of what I need to really focus on. 2018 was just invest in yourself, into your beauty, into knowledge. This was particularly hard because I was losing weight at that point, but I wasn't at my goal weight. I had a lot of things that I wanted to fix within myself. So when I was fixing, myself up, that sounded so bad. When I was investing at the end of 2018, going on to 2019, I felt so much like myself that it just lit a fire under my ass. Even if it's something that's so hard for you to do, kind of sacrifice time and effort into investing in yourself, and it makes all of the difference. Okay, so this ties into number 1, but number 3 is actually decide the boundaries and standards you want to hold for yourself in terms of career, in terms of how people treat you, in terms of friendships, relationships, and in every category in your life. You want to truly sit down with yourself and figure out what you will accept and what you will not accept. Now, this is a pretty easy step because it just is a matter of making a list of all of the boundaries that you can and cannot accept. Okay, so for example, a standard and boundary in a relationship for me is care. So this is pretty obvious. I mean, everyone wants to be taken care of, but if I have a bad day and my partner, for example, isn't listening to me on that day, let it slide sometimes when you understand, you're empathetic towards, oh, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they're going through something in their life, but mostly reading everything for what it is and understanding that if this person isn't going to care for me, I don't need this person and I'm going to find that elsewhere. For boundaries, for example, let's say I have a boyfriend who doesn't like the pictures that I post on Instagram, right? And he's constantly telling me about it. And he's like, you know, I don't like when you post photos in your bikini. I don't like it when you're posting photos with your friends or something. I'm not saying that this happened or anything, but just as an example. My boundary is that I want to be myself, and if they don't like that, I'm not going to let someone talk to me like that, and I'm not going to let someone try to tell me what to do. So in that sense, I would explain to the person, you know, how I'm feeling, and if they don't accept that and they keep on bringing it up, then I'm going to remove myself from the situation. And the reason why this goes hand in hand into number one is that you know that you are able to take care of yourself and be by yourself, and you don't need that person. Number four is surround yourself with positive people and limit your time with people that are negative. For me, this was particularly hard around about a year ago, where I had this limiting belief where I thought that I couldn't find people that had the same sort of like-minded ways of thinking as me in terms of liking YouTube, liking film, you know, doing something creatively. I thought, oh man, those people are so hard to find, especially in Sydney, especially in Australia. But this is a whole other topic of law of attraction and attracting people that you want into your life. I just opened myself up and I was like, no, I am going to accept positive people in my life that are like-minded, that like, you know, creativity, that like film. And you know, I got really, really specific. I'm not saying the people in my life that I have now or in the past were not positive, but I just meant like I wanted more people that were in my sort of field, if that makes sense, to add as a bonus. And when that bonus came, it wasn't even a bonus. It was like a pre-freaking requisite. Like, you need to study these 2 subjects and pass in order to get through to the 3rd subject kind of prerequisite, because it's that important. For example, last year I attracted a friend that was literally in the same life path as me. She wanted to move overseas. She was basically doing the same sort of job as me in the creative field. We were into law of attraction together, like everything. And I also had another friend that was into law of attraction, and she was super successful and ambitious and was just like grinding it. We supported each other so much. And guys, like if someone said this to me before I had this kind of connection, I would just be like, oh, like whatever, it doesn't matter, like people are people, and which they are, and that is amazing. But when you have those extra people, you have no idea how powerful that is. Like, I used to be like, I don't need her, I don't need him, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
I don't need her, I don't need him, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Shout out to Russ, that song is still the bomb. But I realized last year that like, oh my god, you will go, I mean, yes, you can do it yourself. It's not like you're gonna freaking, you know, combust like I was saying in my first point, but you will literally go hundreds and thousands and millions of miles ahead if you just have 1 or 2 people that are just as ambitious, and you go back and forth with each other and you learn and you push each other and you go through these different things. As you know, this quote, you are the product of the 5 people you surround yourself most with, that is literally the truest saying of all time. Just as important is surrounding yourself with people who are positive, who aren't gossiping all the time, who aren't saying, I hate this about myself, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that, because there are a lot of self-deprecating people that weighs you down in a sense, and you might not realize it until the person is out of your life and you're just like, I can breathe again, do you know what I mean? Now, going into the 3rd part of this point is negative people. Should you just cut them out? Cold turkey. I had this problem last year, but I honestly had to learn. I should go learn the hard way that that is no way of living. I was constantly bombarded with all of these spiritual pages that was like,
cut all these negative people out. Cut him out. I have no problem cutting you off.
This is no way of living, guys. You need to employ empathy with people. People are going on different journeys of their life, and unless they are literally in your face and are criticizing you on a constant day-to-day basis and saying you can't do this and actually physically holding you back, like literally going out of their way to stop you from going to that job interview. If they're not doing that, then just try to limit your time with them. But this whole notion of, you know, I can easily cut this person out, no problem, sort of flex is pretty toxic in the spiritual community, in my opinion. But then it's like, sis, are you literally going to just cut off every single person who has had a bad day? Number 5 is take comfort in your work. Now, what does this even mean? Well, about last year, I had this epiphany that probably sounds pretty like obvious, but I truly just understood this. People in relationships can go, and you know, circumstances may go, and everything is just flowing in and out of your life, and you can't necessarily take control of this. But the thing that you can control is yourself, and more particularly your work. Now, this is something that is revolutionary because everyone knew that you can control yourself, but the thing is that when you actually put work into yourself, into your career, it's an actual guarantee that you will go somewhere, you'll be successful, you will get everything that you want. And I know that no matter what I put work into, that will still grow, that will still flourish, because if it's not one project, it will be another, and you will still be developing those skills, and those skills are transferable to basically anything that you want to work towards too. You know, being in a relationship, for example, if something isn't working out, like a relationship is a two-way street, right? Like, you can't just be putting all the work in. The other person has to meet you halfway and put the work in too. Now, I was at a point in my previous relationship where I felt like I was doing all of the work in one point of the relationship. I kind of understood that, like, this goes towards friendships and family and basically anything, that you don't have control of the circumstances no matter how hard you work towards that, because there's always going to be something that controls that aspect, whether it be, you know, fate or the other person's going through their own journey. There's always something. But when it comes to work and skills, that's something that can never, ever, 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 ever be taken away from you. It's like, okay, maybe one specific route isn't going to go like the way that you want, but you always have the control of working on your skills, working on whatever it is that you want to do, right? So you will be skilled one way or another, and that's going to take you to success in your career, right? And for me, that's a guarantee, and that's something that I find such safety in. Once you truly understand that, that will make you a high value woman. Okay, so number 6 is raise other women up. Bad bitches recognize bad bitches. When you understand your worth and when you love yourself, there's absolutely no way that it will be even in you, one little fiber of your being, to bring another woman down. Not only that, but you lift other women up, because you recognize that once you lift other women up, other women will lift you up, and that's the whole beauty of this. And I'm speaking in terms of women, but this can be applied, of course, to everything. We're a community where we live in a world full of people, and we try to bring someone down. That's driven by ego, and that's driven by I am the best. But there's absolutely no way that that works. Like, the world just does not work like that. The world works in expansion and in terms of growth. Have you noticed that, like, if there's a collaboration, things just magically become so much better? You learn from the other person in where you could not have learned before. Like, this is why I don't understand beefs. I'm a YouTuber, right? Say that I saw another woman that's a YouTuber that has 15k subscribers, right? The same as me, and we are really aligned, and we have the same values, and we make the same content. What would you say is better? Me ignoring that person or kind of making fun of her, or contacting her and being like collaborative? You're going to combine two of your audiences, whereas if you are like discluded from each other and you start having beef, for example, what does that give you? Attention? Like, if that gives you drama like that, there's like literally no way that that is better than working with someone else. Does that make sense? So I don't see any need for competition. I kind of see where people say like competition is healthy, but I feel like that's in terms of like sport. Don't pin two women together. Do not pin anyone together. Like, we should be working towards a common goal, and that's the one way that we can grow. And so bad bitches and high value women understand this, and that's when they become more powerful, when they band together, when they're not intimidated by another woman, because they know that what they have inside of themselves is so unique to them and to their own journey that they don't even look to another woman for that, because they know that they have all of that and more inside of them. So the final step for this current moment, tip number 7, is to read books and podcasts. Yes, this is an obvious tip, but bear with me. At a certain point of my life, and this is probably something that is so irrational, I thought that books and podcasts and all of that was stupid and boring, because I was like, no, I need to get up to that level where I'm actually speaking to a mentor, where there's a one-on-one conversation. But you gotta rewind a little bit and see how good freaking books are. Like, if you genuinely take books and podcasts seriously and think that, like, hey, there's an actual real person at the end of this. Like, they're not just writing this book because they want royalties. I mean, some of them, but you know, that's up to you to decide. Most people are doing this because, you know, they want to feel their purposefulness. They want to feel their value. You can be talking to someone, but they could be like tired, or, you know, you can only find a mentor in like 3 years or something, but like you want something now. Like, going into the world of someone through podcasts or books is when you actually understand that this is like a whole ass person that has gone through what you want to do. Because there are some moments where I'm like, like I'm at a roadblock and I have this specific question that I have no idea how to solve, and so sometimes I'll just be reading a book at night and then I read this sentence and I'm just like, this is like so specific to my life. You know, you become a very high value woman when you have a lot to offer and you know some things. Basically, to put it bluntly, to put it as simplified as possible, you become a high value person when you know things and you know your worth. So I hope that this helped. I have another 7 tips that I'm excited to share and I will be uploading as well. So let me know if you're interested in that, and I'm gonna be posting it anyways because whatever. And yeah, I hope that this provided you some value and some insight, and I will see you in my next video.